Hello everyone, this is King and welcome back to my video. In this video today we are going to do a little discussion. I am just finishing chapter 5. I'm in the beginning of chapter 6 and I was able to get all of my gems up to tier 6. So in tier 6 is the last pure gemstone line before it moves into ultra pure gemstone. In my personal opinion, tier 7 is the only, it's either tier 7 or tier 10 is the only ultra gemstone line I would actually consider investing my time into. Tier 9 has 20, tier 8 has 15. Honestly, I don't see that being worth my time at all. I have, well, except for this one, I don't have tier 6 for this one, but everyone else I do, like for example this one I have already. But the goal is to have I can either craft a tier 7, I'm willing to craft a tier 7, but I'm not willing to craft a tier 8 or a tier 9. I'm just going to go straight into tier 10. So I'm currently looking at what is the best tier 10 to invest my time into, or at least start preparing to gather the materials for. Like some of these materials here I know I can get, like the golden brog oil, the pale skeeter wings, I can farm that right now. The crabble shield pincers, like things like that, I can probably farm right now in chapter 6. I can probably farm a lot of these things. Maybe there are some where I can actually get all of the materials. Let's see, I don't think there is any though. Actually, no, there's a few that I am just missing just one. Like the soft-shelled Aligo egg, I'm pretty sure I can get that. Like for example here, I can probably get the accurate grace times 10 if I just sat down and grinded my butt off and did that. Like right now in chapter 6 I can probably get it. I believe so at least. Anyways, the topic of this video today is to look over all of the tier 10s, and I'm wanting to call out on anyone who has either finished the game or or who has more experience than I do and actually has used or have tier 10 gems. Because right now I want to know, where should I invest most of my time into? What gem should I invest most of my time into? I know the answer is probably, well, it depends on what class you use the most or what style you play with. Like for example, if you are a blocker, this would be a great gem to go into. But what I want to know is more of a general gem, a gem that you would use for most of all your parties, or for most all your attackers, most of all your healers, because that's very generic enough to where it's not depending on playstyle. Whereas tanks, it's either evasion or block build. But then again, you can still tell me which one is the most apparent one that you see the most benefit out of. Like for example, I feel like having double strike 10 is probably something I would have the most apparent benefit out of, or having shortened auto attack interval by 40%. Just because I like to play, or I just like to have my attackers equipped with the most attack. But when I do that, I always find it an issue with my defenders to hold aggro. Like right now, I just unlocked the martial artist and they can do so good damage. The damage is so good because of double strike and steady striker. With that, you can have their final arts just charged up just like that. It's so insane. But like over here, I don't know, should I get Perilous Presence 10 to start each aggro, or start each battle with aggro? I mean, I really do like this, but I don't know, is it worth it? How can I best keep aggro, and what are other skills that you recommend getting? Like if we go over them, increase agility plus by 35, I feel like that's great, but with accessories you can increase agility by a way more than what that's providing you with. And honestly, if you build your Zephyrs to where you boost the or no, you reduced, if you add them with double strike and steady striker 2 or 10 for Zephyrs, or especially steady striker 10 and double strike, you can have the buff that increases your agility by 30% up 24/7. So as long as you don't die, you can always have that buff up. And there's an accessory that extends stance by 35%. So if you're having a hard time keeping your stance up 24/7, you can have that accessory, and you can always have a 30% increase to your agility. That way, this right here is no longer really needed. You can just have these two and be just fine. So you can go from a 220 agility to a constant 300 agility just by having your stance up 24/7. So this is like what I mean, you know, like having now Tailwind 10 is not really valuable to my eyes. So I don't think I'm gonna focus on that, to be honest. When I started my Let's Play, agility was a huge factor, but knowing I can get my stance on 24/7 with a additional 30% agility playing Zephyr, it's really good. But if you don't play Zephyr and you play, for example, the Lone Exile, they have a high agility as well, but they don't have any buffs that increase your agility, so maybe having Tailwind 10 would be beneficial. But at the same time, I don't know if plus 35 agility is really game breaker when a tier 6 or tier 7 gives you 25. So, you know, plus 10 agility, I don't know, maybe not top priority. So the question is, what should be my top priority? Just what is a generic thing that everyone probably thinks like, hey, I don't think I could have lived without this gem. You know, maybe there is a gem, maybe there's not. Maybe it's balanced enough to where whatever gem you pick and whatever playstyle you have, that suits you the best. For example, increase block rate by 30 percentage points. With this, you can almost get 100% block rate. Almost, I could probably almost guarantee it. If I have a tier 6 plus 17, and it goes all the way from 17 to 30, which is almost double, which is insane. I currently have now a 70, so or like 74. That means I can go from a 74 to a almost 90% block rate. So I'm constantly blocking, and that is freaking phenomenal. So maybe this is what I should be getting. But in terms of these two, I don't really think I'm going to focus on that much, because the main two things I want to focus on is getting the damage out there and maintaining aggro. I'm not having any issues with aggro for my healers for some reason. At the beginning of the game that was very apparent, and that was mainly the issue, but now I'm having issues with my attacker. Like for example, my Flash Fencer as Noah, whenever he gets his first combo in, he deals massive damage, just some massive damage. And then his piercing final arts, it does like 24 to 50,000 damage. Is insane. Or when I'm playing a martial artist, I get a constant 30k every, I would say, 10 seconds. It's insane. Martial artist is broken. It's such a broken class. But if I do 280% attack damage when you take damage, if I put that on a defender and he has an attack of, let's say, 600, which is let's say 500. I feel like that's more achievable. Heavy Guard has one of the highest attack for the defenders right now, so I would say 500 is achievable. So 500 times 280%. Each time the Heavy Guard is getting hit, he is dealing 1.4k in return damage, which is nuts. That's a lot of damage. So, but the question for this one is, does the return damage count as aggro generating damage? If it's just a 1.4 damage as a DPS, I don't want it. You know, that's what I have an attacker for. But if this attack is generating aggro, I would definitely take this. I just don't know. If anyone knows the statistics on this, if this generates aggro or not, please let me know. As for this boost aggro generated when using arts by 45%, I feel like this is nice and all, but I don't know if this percentage stacks. Like for example, we have tanks that already have arts that boost aggro generated when using arts by X amount. So is this only for whenever we don't have those arts and we're using arts that don't boost aggro, or does that stack on top of the other aggro generating skills that boost aggro, if that makes sense? Like for example, if we have an art that boosts aggro generated when using arts by 70%, and then you have this as a gem, is that 70% plus 145%, or is that just 75% on top of the 145? Like how does that work? Someone know, please tell me. Perilous Presence. I find this gem very useful. I just don't see what the difference is because they don't ever explain the tier. It literally is the same verbiage from tier 1 to tier 10. And I've been getting it just because I know it's helpful. I just don't see how helpful it is. So it's a bit frustrating. I wish they would have gave a incremental value or something to this, but this is why it's going to be on the lower half of my priority list, because I don't know. It's just there's lack of information causes me not to care about it. As for attack, I've been noticing a lot that plus 70 attack is really insignificant to the other gems that you can use. Like for example, if you have an attacker with an accessory that boosts your attack by X amount of percent, and let's say it's 500, so if you get 570, the difference is it's mute if you give them a steady striker or a double strike, right? So for example, if you are playing an Agni class, which their arts derive off of auto attacking, if you have a 40% chance to strike twice, the faster you strike, the more arts you get. So for example, if it takes you 10 seconds to recharge a auto art, and that deals 10,000, but with double striker you can get it within 5 seconds. You're doubling your damage. You're going to do more damage than you would if you had that plus 70 attack. So out of the bat, this gem is just far superior in my opinion. Or when you do shortened auto attacks, for example, a standard auto attack is 2 seconds. Okay, Martial Artist has a passive or skill that kind of acts like Steady Striker, but it deals off of auto chains. But for this one, if you have an auto attack of 2 seconds and you shorten the auto attack interval by 40%, you are literally doing an auto attack every 1.2 seconds. So it's almost as if you're attacking every 1 second. So if you are, like I said, a Agni class and your arts are based off of autoing, you're autoing 50 times faster than you would without this gem. Okay, so you're first of all auto attacking 50 times faster, and then you're having a 40% chance to strike twice per auto, so you're doubling your chances to recharge your arts. Now all you're going to see is your arts just constantly going recharge, 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 and at that point hopefully that proves that this gem isn't really as good as it looks. The numbers is big, but it doesn't do anything, right? You're doing double your damage. Like for example, if you have 500 attack and you're able to attack twice in the amount of time, whereas you have just attack plus 70, you can do double of 500 versus it's not double of 70, it's double of whatever your attack is without this, which is just not worth it. Like I wouldn't take Steel Cleaver over a Steady Striker or Double Strike. So this is not, like I said, not a priority. Dexterity. I am a huge proponent of dexterity. I am a huge proponent of accuracy. Accuracy is vital in this game. It's since episode 1 until now, I am very huge proponent of accuracy. I have either an accuracy accessory or an accuracy gem on my character. Accuracy will always be important, and sometimes finding the sweet spot can be difficult, but dexterity is important. I will always stress this. But having a gem accuracy is not as beneficial as having a accessory accuracy boosting item, because there are some items out there meeting the right conditions or just a generic percentage accuracy increase will give you way more accuracy than this dexterity will ever give you. So honestly, just by the numbers alone, this is useless, absolutely useless. There are accessories out there that can boost your accuracy at night or in the morning by 50%. So if you have a 200 accuracy, you're getting a plus 100 accuracy. You'll have 300 accuracy at night. So this 45 dexterity is just, it's pitiful in that view case. So if you have the accuracy accessory for morning and night, you can swap between those two, and this gem is absolutely trash. So having to farm for all these materials is way in the bottom of the totem pole for me. Unless at some point a plus 245 and 50% of that will break, the barrier to where you will never miss, then maybe I'll consider it. But I haven't done the testing, nor do I have the resources to do that just yet. So as of this time, due to the lack of knowledge, this has no greater value. It's on the bottom of the chain for me, so not really a priority for me. Increasing critical hit damage bonus by 70 percentage points. I would say this is great, but the issue with that is just getting to such a high critical rate. The only few classes I think I can get that way is maybe Sword Fighter, Flash Fencer, and one other class. I'm not entirely sure which other class it was, but the highest I've ever gotten is like maybe 50% or something similar to that, right? So, like I said, just having a 50% chance to crit, and then you get 70% points added to that. I really haven't done the math for this one, so this one's kind of enigma to me because I don't crit often enough for me to see value in this, where I can just have it's basically I'd rather have consistency over, RNG. And right now this is not important because of the RNG factor. Unless we can get our crit up to 80%, 90% to where it's no longer an RNG, it's more like every now and then, then maybe I'll consider it. But right now in chapter 6, I can't get it past maybe 50, 60, 70. Even then, it's still not worth it. Like for every 2/3 of my hit I can crit, it's still not consistent enough for me, to be honest. And the amount of accuracy and gems it would take or the amount of accessories it would take for me to even get to 100 crit, I just don't have the accessories for them just yet. So maybe later in the chapters I'll get something better, but as of right now, not something I really want to consider. And if I haven't mentioned it yet, whenever I have all the tier 6 gems right now, and I can shoot for tier 7, and I think tier 7 is something I would consider getting, but I won't consider getting tier 8, tier 9. I'm going to shoot straight up for tier 10, because the amount of time it would take to get me tier 9, tier 8 is just stupid. Look, 15, 20, that's just too much time. I'd rather spend my time looking for the tier 10s, and I know right now I can actually get that. It's just going to take some time, right? So I'd rather spend my time farming for tier 10s than the latter two tiers. So, refined incantation. Extend duration timers of debuffs applied to enemies by 50%. This is one of the best gems I can see for a tank. Now, not an attacker, but a tank, okay? So a tank has for example, like the Zephyr class has Glow Ring, and Glow Ring has a debuff that does target lock. And you can either use this if at the time you don't have Double Strike or Steady Striker. You can use that to extend the duration of the debuff if by the time your arts recharge and your target lock is not staying on 100% of the time, then maybe this is worth it. Because the goal of Glow Ring to me is for you to have target lock and constantly be able to spam it to the point where you just have target lock on 24/7. So when it comes down to a single target, you will always have aggro. Because if that's the case, this Perilous Present is mute, no longer needed. This Brimming Spirit, mute, no longer needed. It's just you can focus on maybe getting an ultimate counter or increase steel protection. You save yourself 2, if not 1 gem slot just by having this refined incantation. If you don't need that and you can only survive off a double strike and steady striker, you can basically just spam glow ring and just have the target constantly aggro you, which is nice. So this one is a bit higher on the tier list for me, to be honest. Lifebringer X, so increase healing by 45. Honestly, our healers are pretty dope, and I always walk around with 3 healers anyways, so this isn't really too important, and honestly, very low on the totem pole for me. I don't really care about this. Soothing Breath, when helping an incapacitated ally. You know what, before I say that, this is a bit ironic because I did spend, I believe it's like what, 20 or it was 28 Nopon coins to get Lifebringer 6. It was like in chapter 3 or something silly like that. And I spent 28 gold Nopon coins. I regret it to this day, but it was definitely something I should not have done. It was the game just came out, guys. We didn't know what we were doing, and it is what it is, but definitely huge regret, huge regret. And I don't think I'm gonna spend 99 Nopon coins on tier 10s. I'll probably go to the coin exchange and spend the 99 Nopon coins on getting the accessory where tanks can revive allies. Because I've been in some fights where my healers die due to a high hit one target art, and it just basically ruins my run. I literally have to restart. So having a tank with that accessory is just a good safe, good peace of mind. If I know the fight's gonna be difficult, I can just always slap that on a tank and feel fine. Because having this on a heavy guard who has like 7+K defense and 7+K HP and just like 90% block rate, it's insane. You can go revive everybody and be just fine. Soothing Breath 10, when helping an incapacitated ally, revives them with 45% more HP, also raises healing by 15 points. This one I do see some value in. It just depends on how much HP it revives me with. Like for example, if it's an attacker, this is good, but mainly it doesn't matter to me. Like for this, attacker has such an insignificant HP pool that no matter what level you are an attacker, if you get aggroed by an enemy and you get hit, you will die. Most of the time, you will die. So I believe that the attackers and healers HP are only meant for the AoEs and frontals and similar attacks like that. They're not meant to take a lot of damage, because even in chapter 6 I can get 2-shotted with my attackers, but I can take 15, 20 plus hits with my defenders or Zephyrs. So it's not really worth it, Plus with my healers, I have 3 healers. They can get you up to 10% or 100% easy. Plus there's an accessory, I believe, that recovers 90 to 95% of your arts based when you revive somebody. So the moment you revive someone, you can group them up and then just do your BYX and just get them topped off to 100%. So like this skill is pretty mute. It's not worth it in my opinion. But this life-saving expertise is worth it. I believe it's worth it. It's on the higher priority list than everything else. As I mentioned before, the setup I have for my healers is they have an accessory that recharges their arts by 90 to 95% each time they revive somebody. So if you have a healer whose all their arts are used up, it's on cooldown, someone dies, you just rush over to them. You have like maybe 2 people healing them, reviving them at the same time, or is it just you? You can boost the speed of reviving them by 45%, which is almost instantaneous revival. And then you'll get the art, and it'll recharge all your skills, and you just do BYX, and instantly everyone's healed up. This one is probably one of the highest on the priority list than the rest. Like this one is a really, really good gem in my opinion, and I think I'm probably going to get this one first. So let me know what you folks think. As well, I do want to know your experts' opinions. Let me know what you've used so far and what you like. This one's probably the highest on my list. Like this one, life-saving expertise Double Strike 10, Steady Striker are probably the 3 most top tier ones I'm going to be farming for. The HP, not really. I don't really play Heavy Guard or Lone Exile. Not really much, but I think it's worth it. But the thing is, like, for the tier 6 or tier 7, I can get that right now just for farming 2 Entel Queen Shells. That's plus 1000. So just for a difference of 300, or sorry, 500, not really seeing it. So unless there's just some unknown, if you're using the accessory and just plus 500 of that number gives you this insane HP boost, I just don't see it. Unless you just want 9999. If you can even get that far, I don't know. But to me, not really priority. I'm not going to spend hours farming for abundant meats just to get 500 plus HP. So for Steady Striker, like I said, this is I already promoted this skill so many times. Shorten auto attack interval by 40%. It's such a good skill. Such a good skill. I would top of the list. Double Strike, top of the list. Empowered combo, top of the list. Top of the list. I know I never said anything about this, but this top of the list. Disperse Bloodlust, reduce aggro generated when using arts by 45%. I would say yes. I would say if anything, this line right here is probably what I would focus on the most, then maybe a Soothing Breath. Like that's really what I have my eyes on, except for maybe Ironclad. Steady Striker 10, Double Striker 10, Empowered Combo 10, Disperse Bloodlust 10, and then Soothing Breath 10. I would definitely focus on that. Everything else maybe lower tier. Refined Incantation 10, but my belief is if you have Steady Striker 10 and Double Striker 10, you should be able to recharge your glow ring like stupid fast. So you shouldn't even need to have Refined Incantation 10 to begin with. Like that shouldn't be a problem. So these two just so good, so good. And then Soothing Breath, so good. Like these three, I can't live without it. This one, Empowered Combo, is very situational. Like for example, if I have my Martial Artist, I can do literally double damage. It's just insane. What will happen is I'll give my martial artist Steady Striker, Double Strike, and Empowered Combo. And what he'll do is he'll have 2 positionals in one chain. And I'll give him a accessory that boosts your art, or at the start of battle you'll have 100% art recharge. So you can just do fusion art, fusion art, fusion art, and then for example one of my fusion arts will be 2 frontals for the Agnian and Convesi class. So the fusion will be just a 2 frontal combo, and he'll use it once and recharges his special arts completely. And if I animation cancel that art, instead of doing 20k, I can do 30k just instantaneously with a let's see, with a Empowered Combo 6. I don't have 7 yet, but 6. I'll do 50%. So typically he does 20%, 20k using his final art. But with this, I'll do 30k off the bat. So if I'm looking at a 75%, let's see, it goes from 20,000 times 75% to 15,000. So that's additional 5,000. So you're looking at, instead of 20,000, instead of 30,000, you're doing 35,000. It's insane. And that's just the level I am at right now. It goes way higher. The higher attack I have, the higher level I have, it just keeps going up. Like right now we're only level 58, 59. Last time I checked it was like 48, 50 was the last level I checked it at, and I was doing a constant 20k. And that can be boosted way more by other accessories. It just gets higher and higher. Like this is such a good accessory. I would definitely highly recommend it. Disperse Bloodlust, like I said, I've been having issues with attackers aggro and stuff, but you only have enough slots for 3, and I'm using those slots for Steady Striker, Double Strike, and Empowered Combo. So for me, I don't really know if my logic is if I'm not controlling the character and the AI is controlling the character, I would give the AI maybe Disperse Bloodlust, because what I noticed is the AIs don't really focus on animation cancel. And if you want them to, you can always give them an accessory that boosts the window of opportunity for a animation cancel. Then they may animation cancel more. I don't know, unless there's a window cancel window. You can expand the window of opportunity by more than 50%. I would say like 80%, 90%. If there was an accessory like that, I would definitely give that to an AI because they'll be animation canceling like crazy and their damage will just go through the roof. It's insane. So I'm not really sure. I think I would just have for the tanks just Perilous Presence and maybe Brimming Spirit or something like that, just to have them maintain the aggro, just whatever I can to maintain the aggro. If not, I'll just probably put the Zephyr with a Double Strike and Steady Striker and just spam my Glow Ring. Now, there is a class called the Yoomsmith that has a skill that increases the chances of a debuff by 15 points. So you can give that to your Zephyr, you put these two to your Zephyr, and then you just spam Glow Ring, spam it, and then you will always have aggro. And if you play a heavy guard or any other Kavesi class, you can put Glow Ring on their fusion arts and then give them a accessory that at the start of each battle have your arts charged by 100%. Or you don't need to get that because eventually you will have the art recharge quickly with Steady Striker and Double Striker if you have that, or if you want that. You may not want that on your heavy guard, but you can always spam Glow Ring. Glow Ring is probably one of the best skills in my opinion because it is a target lock. I hate Taunt. I don't think Taunt works. I don't know what Taunt does. It doesn't do anything that I see. So unless someone knows otherwise, then let me know that Taunt is actually better than it is. Based on paper, it doesn't do anything. Target lock forces the enemy to focus on you. So whenever you interlink with Mio and Noah, she has a skill that AoE target locks. It is one of the best skills for a tank. It is the best skill for a tank. I will always have, once I max out all my classes, Mio will always be a tank. She will always be a Zephyr in my heart. If she's going to be anything, she's going to be Zephyr because she has one of the highest agilities to the point where you don't even need Tailwind times 10, Tailwind 10. You just equipped her with Steady Striker, Double Strike, and then you give her an accessory that boosts her agility. Then what I would also do is give her maybe a accurate graze times 10 because she has very low accuracy. She does need some help. Unless you can give her an accuracy booster, or you can give her a accessory that boosts 50% of her accuracy overnight, then yeah, maybe you don't get that, but I would definitely give Steady Striker, Double Strike, and I would give a extend duration timer debuff for her. I may give her something else, but those two are the only ones I want so far. I mean, if I have trouble with aggro, I'll replace Refined Incantation with Perilous Presence, or I wouldn't do Brimming Spirit. I would just do Perilous Presence because the goal for her is to go, like, for her to have some aggro at the beginning of the fight. She's going to get her auto attack in really quickly, then she's going to use Glow Ring and just spam Glow Ring. And if you aren't hitting Glow Ring enough, I'll take the skill from the Yoomsmith, which is called, I forget what it was called, but it increases the chance of having a debuff by 15 percentage points, or 15 points, and just, you shouldn't miss. And if you have two Zephyrs, you guys are just basically playing tank swapping like it's a patty cake. It's pretty fun to watch. It's not fun to watch when you're doing positional, so maybe just consider having one person do the Glow Ring spamming and the other person just maintain the, like, have an MT and OT, having a main tank and an off tank. But what I like to do is have like maybe a Zephyr and a Lone Exile, because Lone Exiles they feed off of other characters having aggro, and then in turn they gain aggro because of it, and they also do passive spike damage because the target isn't physically targeting them. Then if you put them to the point where they have their arts recharged, it's not actually, no, that one's not good because if a tank is having aggro, that doesn't really take effect. But I digress. That is actually going to be it for this video, folks. I do want you folks to comment on it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your experiences are with these gems. I told you what my experiences were. Maybe you can sway my opinion and make me think different. I would honestly love that. I'm definitely in the position where I'm going to be farming for tier 10 gems now, and I want to invest my time the best way I possibly can. So I already told you what I feel like I'm going to be farming for first. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your experiences are. I would love to hear them. And honestly, that's it. I will see you all in the next one.